Ho, 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 and howdy. Welcome to Dabbler Depot Studios. My name's Jordan. I'm here with our beer buyer, Liz. And Liz, what are we doing today?
Oh, we are drinking beer.
Yes!
Which is what we love to do. But more importantly, we're drinking winter ales, and we're going to be assigning them to holiday characters. A little bit of personification via beer.
Let's hit it. All right, well, Liz, first up, we've got Bell's Christmas Ale. And now you mentioned in the intro that this is a Scotch ale. What does that mean?
So Scotch ale is a style.
Okay.
So it's kind of what I was talking about before, where there's the umbrella of holiday or Christmas ale can encompass something that is a known style. So a Scotch ale is a perfect example of a winter warmer. You're gonna have like tons of like rich body. You're gonna have like lots of caramel, just like super like has a lot of mouthfeel. Usually there's some sweetness. Could be roasty, could be all sorts of different things that you get. A Scotch ale is like a log at the bottom of a fire. It's not gonna be like the thing that's like burning in the showcase, but it is just like that steady heat that is just keeping you warm throughout the winter months. So that's how I think of it.
How would you say that it would compare to maybe some other winter ales?
I think this one doesn't have as much spice. I think it's like warming overall. Like it doesn't really taste like a 7% beer,
Right.
7, almost 8% beer. It's actually kind of a little bit lighter and easy drinking. Sometimes with the winter Christmas ales, you're gonna have a ton of spice. So someone's gonna be like, oh, we're putting 12 seasonings in there, which is great. But sometimes you just wanna have that little belly warmth with that easy drinking side of it.
Yeah, I'm definitely getting that. It's lighter. Sweeter than I think I've had historically with winter ales. It almost seems like it's planning for one thing, but doesn't quite hit it. Things usually go awry.
Yeah,
And
that's
I
totally,
have a character in my mind of like who this reminds me of.
So
but I would love to hear your guess.
not including, who the character I think it is, but this scene itself reminds me of National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation. Yes!
Got it.
No way!
That's where I was going. Clark Griswold.
Clark W. Griswold.
Clark W. Griswold. He usually has a plan, normally well-intentioned, but it doesn't quite fit other people's ideas of like what a...
The universe has other plans in mind.
Normally things go a little wonky.
Right.
Not that this is wonky, but it's not what I picture.
Correct.
With a Christmas ale. But
I mean, he just wanted a fun, old-fashioned family Christmas. And I think that's what you can have with the Scotch ale, for sure. But then you have like maybe like 2 or 3 too many, and then all of a sudden things just start to slide to the side.
random family members just start showing up to your house.
Exactly.
And all of a sudden, the plan goes out the window.
You weren't planning on having a dog or a cat at your home, and then all of a sudden there is one.
Okay, we just got done with Bell's Christmas Ale. Second up, we've got Deschutes Jubilale, a festive winter ale, and coming in at 6.7%. It sure to offer some holiday cheer.
Yeah. What I talked about before was that sometimes breweries are just kind of making up the beer to the style, which is really interesting to me, that this is one of those categories like someone can be like, you know what, it's a winter ale because it's got, some spices in there. It doesn't have to be a Scotch ale. It doesn't have to be a Belgian blonde, which I think is really creative and really fun and a good way to see what a brewery is capable of when it is able to just kind of do what its interpretation of that beer is. So what do you get on the nose, Jordan?
Very sweet. Very sweet right up front.
Super sweet.
It's not quite off-puttingly sweet, but I can tell that the sip might be a little overpowering.
So much caramel.
Caramel.
Always. Caramel melts. Just
but
like
that's a typical characteristic of this style of beer.
Oh boy. Oh, that's got some nice seasoning in there though. That is really, really lovely.
There's a lot. There's a lot going on.
Right. It's very complex.
What are we picking out of there? Is that clove?
I get clove. I get clove and like a little bit of nutmeg maybe.
Yeah.
Definitely not cinnamon, so it's not like an allspice. It's definitely kind of more of those like really earthier ones versus
herbaceous.
Herbaceous, that's a good word.
Yeah.
This to me is like such a colorful, like what's a colorful Christmas holiday film?
I would say that Dr. Seuss is The Grinch.
Definitely.
Although, this is like too sweet to be The Grinch.
It's definitely too sweet.
It's like, it comes on strong.
Right.
Maybe not for everybody right away, but Oh, I think I've got it.
Well, what's another colorful Christmas movie?
Elf.
Yes! Oh my gosh,
Is that where you?
totally Elf.
Yeah.
Yes.
This beer is Buddy
Yes.
the Elf. Probably a little too sweet at first.
Definitely,
comes on
yes.
a little strong, but the more time you spend with it, you realize.
The more you like it, yes.
You realize that there's something to love there, and it. I mean, the spices really call back to a certain nostalgia of like this
yes.
time of year
Yep.
too. So.
This is basically syrup in a glass
It
with
is,
a little
yeah.
bit of seasoning.
A little thick like that, but pretty good.
Buddy the Elf, yes. for
Buddy the
sure.
Elf.
All right, Jordan, next we have Summit Winter Ale, which has a special place in my heart.
Yeah.
Not only is Summit just very near and dear to me, and near in the sense that we can smell when they're brewing outside.
Literally, this morning
which was
I walked in
amazing.
and I could smell the,
Which is honestly one of my favorite things about being so close to Summit, but it is also just like a gold standard in my mind. So it is really interesting too that this winter ale is also their own like creation. So this is their interpretation of a winter ale. But what are your feelings on it?
I agree across the board. This is what I hold all other winter ales up to, and it is strictly because it is the closest option. It was my first experience to this style of beer, and Summit is just near and dear to my heart for nostalgic reasons, for geographical reasons, and I have loved this beer for the better part of 10 years. So let's get into it.
Oh, well, first off, look at how
I know.
beautiful it is. Just
dark,
look at that.
malty,
Look at that beautiful baby. No, if there's anything that Summit does best, and it is like quality and just assurance time after time that you are drinking the thing that you know and love and expect. But I get a lot of tons of caramel.
Yeah, like almost like a burnt caramel. It's got a little bit of a twinge to it. It's overall for me very balanced.
Super
Exceptionally
balanced.
balanced. Nothing is coming out as being like the star of the show, but nothing is being overpowered.
But this one does have I would almost say like an allspice to it, just a hint of cinnamon, but it still kind of has that really, what'd you say earlier, herbal, kind
herbaceous,
of like herbaceous in terms of there's like just that little bit of nutmeg. It kind of finishes like really dry and roasty, so it smells sweet, kind of has a little sweetness, but it doesn't stay with you. Like it is very balanced.
It's almost like the beer equivalent of like what my grandmother's house used to smell like around this
Oh my
time
gosh,
of year.
totally.
When she
yes.
was just, whipping up things in the kitchen, whatever they were. It's like all of the components in this beer were things that she used in her recipes. So,
So nostalgic for sure.
Nostalgic, yeah.
Because it's important to us.
Yep.
It's our neighbors. What movie does it make you think of? I think this one's
it's
I
classic.
was like, this one to me just is like, I already know it.
Yeah, I think we're getting there.
Yep, yep.
I'm thinking the boy, the neighborhood kid,
Yep.
the boy down next door. This is Ralphie from the Christmas Store.
Ralphie, this beer won't shoot your eye out.
Not gonna shoot your eye out. It's almost as well balanced as a fishnet leg lamp.
Well, cheers to Ralphie and
Yeah.
Summit being near and dear.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Jordan, I'm starting to feel the warming effects that
I'll
are
say so.
created.
Are we getting a little rosier as we go?
Yeah, I think so. It's because we were outside in the cold.
We call that holiday cheer.
Yeah, I like that. Just a little.
Yeah. Well, what's the next gift we're about to open?
Oh, okay. Well, I absolutely love Omegang. And this beer, I just love it because of the name. It's called Everything Nice, and it's actually a strong blonde ale. Blonde ale being a style that you can enter into competitions and such like that. But this one has its nice little like holiday flair on it, which I'm really excited about.
Yeah, it says it's a strong blonde ale with seasonal spices and natural and artificial flavor.
Ooh, also, look at the color of this one.
Yeah.
That is beautiful.
Jeepers, I just opened up the spice cabinet.
Yes.
I just opened up the door swung open and every single thing wafted
Maybe
right
a
into my
couple
face.
fell out and like
Yeah.
just poofed in the air.
Spilled all over, yeah. I'm getting a face full of... I don't know which
Oh
one
my
is
gosh.
the strongest.
So you know what it makes me think of? If we're gonna continue using baking terms, like when you put in like that teaspoon of like the seasoning into the already mixing and it like kind of does that little poof of air, it just hits you.
My God, yeah, this is definitely, so far, the most like,
Wow.
just seasonal, like this
Yes.
is...
This
is the full spice cabinet.
that is
like I just said.
beautiful.
It is
That is a beautiful beer.
but it's like even though it's such intense flavoring, everything is still very regulated and balanced, and nothing is dominating anything else.
Exactly.
It is comfortable. Mostly cinnamon, nutmeg,
Yeah.
but they all are like dancing well. It's
Oh,
not
no,
like
it's
not like
beautiful.
they're singing their own
Yeah.
song.
Nope.
Yeah.
You can definitely taste the strength when we say strong blonde ale. You're just like, oh, there it
that
is
being
down the
said,
throat.
this is a 9% limited release strong blonde.
You have
ale,
one of
so
these and everything is feeling nice.
That wacky aunt might be tolerable after 1.5 of these.
Right. We kind of talked about that it's just really comfortable and just really like there for you. What do you?
For me,
what are you thinking?
it almost reminds me of like the snowman from the original. Like you remember like the way back classics.
Oh,
Like he's just a
yeah.
comfortable like
Yep.
soul to have around. What were you getting?
Well, I don't know. I kind of was actually thinking it's kind of more like a newer generational kind of like
Okay.
beer. So I was thinking like a more modern holiday film. I don't know if you've seen any of those recently.
I don't know.
I like a good old-fashioned rom-com holiday,
Yeah,
not
ooh.
Hallmarky. So let's set the scene here. But it's like before Airbnb and VRBO became a big thing, there was like this house exchange thing.
Right.
And so I'm thinking the holiday.
Jude Law.
Jude Law.
Jude Law.
I mean, I wouldn't say Jack Black. It's too blonde.
Yeah,
It's
too
too
blonde for
blonde.
the Jack Black character. But
It's comfortable. It's there for you. It's like
warm. It's
Oh.
it feels like a shoulder and a snuggly
Yes,
blanket and a
yes.
fireplace.
So if you remember the scene, Cameron Diaz is like lonely. She just like spur of the moment just went ahead and did this thing, and then Jude Law just literally falls into her doorstep and he's drunk. So this is perfect because he's like a little bit boozy, but it's like really comfortable and warming.
It's a good boozy.
It's a good
It's
boozy.
not like a get away from me weirdo.
When I think of Jude Law, he is everything nice. Really.
Hey, I can't argue. All right, Liz, on to our fifth and final beer. Where are we going?
Well, we were already kind of talking about Europe and kind of like just like those cozy England vibes. We're just gonna stay over there and bump into a nice Belgian dark ale. And actually it's called a special ale, which I think also falls underneath that strange umbrella of, ooh, excellent. This is actually how you're supposed to drink Belgian
This
strong
is
ale.
what our
You can tell it was shipped overseas. It got a little rattle on the ships. I don't know if they fly it over yet.
forefathers. This is how they intended
You're
us to celebrate the season.
Anyways,
It's just.
this
just
is
going
Guden Carolus, and this is specifically their Christmas ale. So they actually are more known for their Imperial Blonde, their blonde ales. Really exciting we have coming up. We're actually going to be pairing this original beer with a whiskey that is now being made with that same beer. So first off, it is dark, and it's got like a
Very dark.
just a nice kind of like reddish color, but not super bright.
And Liz, out of the 5, this is our heaviest hitter in terms of ABV.
Okay, all right, that's why we
think,
finished
yeah.
with it. So it's
That's
just
why you finish with this.
sends
this
us home.
This guy is a 10%, so we will finish the evening with this guy. And
Well, what do you get on the nose?
it's
there?
again, everything's gonna be that just spice cabinet, but this one not as much as our last
No,
guy. This
no.
one,
But
it's sweeter. It's almost
definitely a little sweet, but also like licorice.
like licorice.
I get licorice.
Which can be a highly abrasive flavor for some people.
If you think of Rumpelminz, if you think of just any other kind of liqueur that uses a lot of anise to it, sugar cookies usually have like a little bit of
Yeah.
that spice in there too. So it really is a winter beer because it is warming, like inherently.
Yeah, eventually. I found.
Eventually,
Like
yeah.
the first 2 sips I had, and on the nose, I was a little thrown off.
Yum.
Honestly, like I was getting that licorice,
Yum.
and I don't generally go for licorice flavored things, and so I was almost turned off
So
right
maybe
from
it's
the
not.
nose.
So it's not for everyone.
I don't think this one is for
So
everyone.
If you were to, I mean, we can keep talking about the beer. I definitely get like lots of roasted caramels, but like I already kind of have someone in mind that's not for everyone. But at the
It's the
same
Grinch.
time, it's the Grinch.
Yeah,
of
it's
course
the
it's
Grinch.
the
This-
Grinch.
this beer is the
right?
Yeah, it starts a little strong, pretty abrasive, honestly. Like a cloying sweetness.
A cloying sweetness.
But then, as you spend a little more time with it, you realize
I
that there
know.
is some capability for it to, grow heart sizes a few times, right?
It is definitely warming my heart, certainly.
It's warming my
also,
stomach.
And I'll just bring it up again with the label. Like, it's kind of nice. It's like looking down at a town, like he does in, what do they call it, Whoville?
Whoville,
Yeah.
yeah. I think though that this one is definitely those who love it will absolutely love it.
It's like so complex, but also balanced. Like the more you drink it, the more you just kind of like, it like kind of reveals itself, which is I think what the Grinch is.
Yeah, we're discovering new things about
Yes,
it as we spend more time with it.
Yeah,
and,
because Cindy Lou Who knew that the Grinch wasn't just like his face, and she took the time to get to know him and discover that he really is, you know, just has a good soul there.
there's more than meets the taste.
And like, can we discover the meaning of Christmas by drinking this beer? I think so.
I think after one or two, definitely. Yeah. Well, cheers.
Cheers. All right, Dabblers, thank you so much for joining us here today. We certainly had a really good time. Our cheeks are looking a little Santa Claus-like, and you know, just a nice little bowl full of beer. This is a good way, a good adaptation.
A warm belly.
A warm
on
belly.
Cool
There we go.
Day. So I'm thankful for you sharing your knowledge on what winter ales are and what we can expect. But we want to hear from you. What are your quintessential Christmas ales? What beers do you drink in these cold winter months? We want to hear from you. We have a huge selection here in store, but we want to look to expand that based on your recommendations. So please drop in the comments what your go-to winter beer is. So let us know.
And if you want to stop by the store next December 9th, that's a Friday, we're actually going to be sampling out these beers that we just talked through. So you can tell us your thoughts. You can also alter some of our character associations. This one is for sure Ralphie, so you can't change my mind on that. But I'll take other opinions as well.
Happy holidays from Dabbler Depot. Hope to see you. Hope you have a great holiday season, and we'll see you soon in store. Thanks.
Cheers.